So we will now start the webinar. First, let me welcome all the panelists and the speaker. And I would also like to welcome all the attendees who are coming on. Let me introduce the panelists first. The speaker is Dr. Trong Nghia, who at this time is based in Australia. And with him is Mr. Min from his office, who is based in Vietnam. The facilitator is Professor Chisti, who is based in Delhi, I think. And I want to make a special welcome to the School of Planning and Architecture. So Professor Diwan sitting right in front. Don't pin me yet. Professor Diwan sitting right in front. And Professor K.T. Ravindran, who's sitting next to him, who's an eminent architect. And he just reminded me also who taught in the school for many years. My sister, Ava Wood, who's coming in from England. And my technical advisor, Navya D'Souza, who's coming in from Bangalore. So welcome to everybody. I will quickly run through how we are going to conduct this session. After my welcome, I will hand it over to my sister Ava to introduce the memorial series. I'll then hand it over to Professor Diwan to talk about the School of Planning and Architecture, the oldest school in India. Oh, sorry, the second oldest school in India. And then we have a little video about the archives, which the archives of Professor Jhabvala's works. After that, I will hand it over to Professor Chisti to introduce and welcome Dr. Nghia. And then we will hear the lecture. And after that, Professor Chisti will take over and will ask the questions. Now, welcome to all the people who are on as attendees. Please put your questions in the Q&A box. Please write your questions in the Q&A box, and we will be choosing them. We may not be able to get to all the questions, and we may answer them later in writing, but please do put them into the Q&A box. And then it'll end with a vote of thanks, and that'll be about 90 minutes. So once again, welcome. And I would now like to hand it over to my sister, Ava Jhabvala Wood, who is also an architect and is this ex-student of the School of Planning and Architecture. Ava?
Yes, I also want to welcome you all to the 5th in the CSA Jhabvala Memorial Series, which is sponsored and organized by the Jhabvala family and the Delhi School of Planning and Architecture. Let me just give you a quick background to this series of lectures. Our father, CSA Jhabvala, he was a well-known and well-regarded teacher and practicing architect based in Delhi. He was one of two partners in the practice of Anandapte and Jhabvala, which spanned 40 years. The practice was prolific and known for the quality and range of its work. But Jhabvala was equally well known for his time as lecturer, head of department, and director at the Delhi School of Planning and Architecture. As Renana, my sister, said, it was the second oldest school in India. But he was there from the time he joined in 1949 as a lecturer until his retirement in 1978. And during this period, the Delhi School of Planning and Architecture went from polytechnic status to a highly respected school of architecture with RIBA recognition. It could be said Jhabvala was actually instrumental in transforming the institution, but he will be best remembered for his progressive teaching methods and for the many architects that benefited from his role as a teacher. Our father was also an accomplished artist. He passed on his love of sketching to many of his students who were encouraged to study and understand historic buildings. He used to run these live sketching programs. And Jhabvala's own sketches and paintings have been published in 3 volumes of books. You can see a selection of his artistic work, as well as the architectural projects undertaken by the practice, and the feature on his website, csajhabvala.com. And I believe there's a link to it in the Q&A session. You can explore, I encourage you to explore his works. And it really confirms the extent to which our father was involved, not only in the education of architects, but in his role in the creation of buildings in Delhi and beyond. And it shows his love of painting and sketching. After our father passed away in 2014, the family decided to continue his legacy through a lecture series that we hope will benefit future architects. It's not just to remember him, but it's something we hope that will benefit architects and students. The first 3 lectures were delivered by architects that themselves are highly accomplished, influential, and well-regarded for their architectural work and for their teaching. We were fortunate really to attract speakers of the caliber of Raj Rewal, Rahul Mehrotra, and Christopher Benninger, and they gave the lectures in 2017, 18, and 19. In 2020, for obvious pandemic reasons, we had to abandon the lecture. But in 2021, the distinguished Israeli architect Ada Karmi Melamed agreed to our invitation, and she delivered the lecture in 2021 using this Zoom webinar platform. And what we found is that this online option gives us an opportunity to invite architects from beyond India and to reach a more global audience. And for that reason, we are fortunate that Dr. Nghia has agreed to give this lecture. And Dr. Nghia, I also welcome you warmly to tonight's event. Let me just say, while exploring your work and familiarizing myself with your methods of working, it struck me that Dr. Nghia and Jhabvala are and were working in response to a crisis, although of different sorts. Jhabvala and his contemporary were using their skills and knowledge to deal with significant and sudden urban expansions caused by one of the worst refugee crises seen in the 20th century. Dr. Nghia is also working to counteract rapid urbanization, but with the added context of the looming climate catastrophe. Really what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way, that architects have and will continue to respond to different crises, and they bring new ideas and solutions to these problems. I think that's all I have to say. I hope that gives you some background. Let me just say one more thing, that the lecture series, the 4 we've had so far, are available on YouTube, and I believe the link is on the Q&A box as well. So you can go back and listen to those lectures. And I hand you back to Renana.
Thank you, Ava. I just adding one thing to what Ava just said. We did invite a prominent Chinese architect, Wang Shu, who also won the Pitts Prize, as you know. And unfortunately, that was 2020. The lecture was at the end of February. So at the last minute, we had to cancel it. And he had his tickets, he was ready to come. I would now like to hand it over to Professor Diwan to talk a bit about the School of Planning and Architecture, please. Also should mention that Professor Diwan was also a student of our father. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So I am sitting in this new committee room of the School of Planning and Architecture here in Delhi. And I have right next to me, Professor K.T. Ravindran. So, and we have our faculty members here, and we have some other students here. So we are doing it in the new committee room. So a little bit about the school, as it's been said already. We started in 1941 as a Delhi Polytechnic. And Walter George was the first head of the Department of Architecture. And from then to now, the school has maybe 12 departments. We have PhD programs, master's programs, and undergraduate programs in architecture. And we are going to, with the new education policy, make big changes in the architectural curriculum. And so school is now well known all over the world, and the people who pass out of here go and work all over, and the school is known by the products, by the architects we produce. So that is all I have to say about the school. So now I hand it over to Rihanna now again, and then maybe we go forward to Professor Chishti. Thank you. That is all I have to add.
Thank you. And now let me hand it over to Professor Chishti. As I mentioned, he was also a student of my father, also a professor and an eminent architect. He has also been the facilitator for each of the memorial lectures. He's a member of our committee to select. And I must say, he is the person who has been identifying the international speakers. And so we're very grateful to him for identifying Dr. Nghia, and for Dr. Nghia for saying yes. So Professor Chishti, can I hand it back to you?
Thank you, Haridana. Ladies and gentlemen, as a part of the effort to expand the scope of the Jhabvala Memorial Lectures, inclusion of architects from geocultural zones that are located away from the madding crowd of architectural discourse, closer to us in India, actually took off last year with the first lecture delivered by the highly respected 85-year-old Israeli architect, Ada Karmi Malmedeh. We are happy this time around, therefore, to have a 47-year young Trong Nghia from Vietnam, the other end of the globe, join us online from Australia today. On behalf of the Jhabvala family and the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, permit me to welcome and thank him for having agreed to deliver the 5th lecture of the series. With rising populations around the world and the pressures of climatic catastrophe, the work of Trong Nghia is a call for architecture to transform itself from a source of pollution to a reason of hope. An awareness of architecture's responsibilities has permeated the profession, and new ideas and solutions are coming from places where these issues are acute. Following a long recovery from decades of war, Vietnam has emerged as one of the most exciting centers of design in Asia, led largely by the work of designers such as Trong Nghia, whose work has gained an international following. Born in 1976, actually 1 year after the Vietnam War, in a family of farmers, Vaughan spent his growing up years in a small, poor village of Van Za, situated in the mountains of Quang Binh province. Living along with his parents and 6 siblings in a tiny house of barely 70 square meters, without access to basic amenities such as running water and electricity, he got introduced to the value of trees as the only source of coolness and comfort. A shadow cast by a tree, he learned early on in life, was an extremely important resource in the tropical climate. After finishing high school, Vo was accepted at the Hanoi University to study architecture. A year later, however, in 1996, he won a Japanese government scholarship to continue his studies in Japan. Studying there for 10 years, 1 year studying Japanese in Tokyo, 3 years in college at Ishikawa, and 2 years in Nagoya, finally receiving his master's degree in 2004 from the Graduate School of University of Tokyo. As a student in Japan, he studied under the minimalist Hiroshi Naito and encountered the work of Colombian architect Simon Vilés, a proponent of bamboo architecture with its large spans and high voluminous spaces. The ideas and teachings of both were to have a profound influence on Vo's work. After an aborted PhD, he returned to Vietnam in 2006 to start his firm, Vo Trong Nghia Architects, in the Ho Chi Minh City, followed by a branch office in Hanoi. Working with dominant themes of green architecture, with the trees and bamboo as building materials, VTN architects use contemporary design vocabulary to explore new ways to create architecture for the 21st century, while retaining the quintessence of Asian architecture. Their architecture makes clear reference to the past and Vo's own adherence to the 5 precepts of Buddhist teaching. Vo has received many international prizes and honors and co-authored a 2-volume book on his work. Besides running his architectural practice, rather innovatively, involving clever time management principles and serious meditative practices, he has been engaged in a wide range of social activities, such as raising funds to plant trees across Vietnam and Myanmar, where he spent 3 years meditating recently. Located in Australia currently, primarily to learn English, believe it or not, Vo is ready to take the next leap forward, having finally accepted teaching invitations from the top universities in the West. May I now urge the attendees online to get into the meditative mode, while I take great pride in inviting Vo to lead us all through the experience by presenting the 5th annual Jhabvala Memorial Lecture. Over to Vo Trong Nghia.
Thank you very much to give me this opportunity to share with you about practicing architecture based on the 5 precepts, Buddhist precepts and meditation. Let me start to share my screen to you. This
While
hello?
you're sharing your screen, yeah, may I request everybody to turn off the panelists to stop the videos, please, while the lecture is going on.
Can you see my screen now? No? Hello?
We can see your screen, but that box is still there.
Yeah, I can remove it now. Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Thank you very much again. I am now in Australia to learn English. Hopefully, my English is good enough to share with you about profound Buddhist teaching and my architecture. Hopefully, one day I can share it fluently. And let me start my presentation. The theme is practicing architecture based on the 5 precepts, Buddhist precept and meditation. So I had been meditating in Myanmar for about 3 years, from 2017 to 2020 in the forest of Myanmar. The name of the town is Hinolim. They have very big forest, and in the 1,200 meters from the sea level, and I meditate about like 6 hours to 8 hours, 10 hours a day for 3 years continuously. And I came out in 2020, right before the pandemic. And I spent 2 years pandemic in Vietnam during the period of, and then a pandemic. And I came here just about 2.5 months ago. So all I would explain it again and again, but all of Buddha thought is about first is a morality and concentration and wisdom. And what is the morality is the 5 precepts is first of them is do not harm or kill. Mean we need to respect even mosquito life or ant or snake or any beings around us. And do not steal, that means do not take what is not given. Do not conduct sexual misconduct, or do not lie or gossip, or do not take alcohol and drug or something you addicted. And then add an architect using an unlicensed software is also like violate to the morality. Like I think it's about do not take what is not given. Or add an architect, someone we make up the story. We make the story follow our design to be more easy to understand or something like that. Also kind of lying, or photoshopping our work to submit a award and winning award, or do something like that. Also kind of lying. So in our office we have to purchase all of the software. We write down simple the story of the architecture, or we don't Photoshop our work to submit the award or printing the books. And at our company, we require our staff to meditate 1 hour per day, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And at a basic requirement, we ask our staff to maintain the 5 Buddhist precepts. And to maintain the 5 Buddhist precepts, we can building trust within the office, and between the office and client, and the office to the society. And of course, with the morality, we can reduce the conflict between the two. And with the 1 hour per day of meditation, we can improve our concentration and help us to be independent, happiness, and low anxiety. And of course, as an architect, it benefits us immediately to enhance our skill, creativity, and productivity. But of course, the precept and meditation purpose is for enlightenment, not for being good architect. But at a side effect, we can be more concentrated. We are good at concentration, and then we can more creativity or productivity. So Buddha taught us is about morality, concentration, and wisdom. And let me explain about wisdom a little bit. Based on the morality and concentration, morality is about, for a layman, is about the 5 precepts as I explained, and concentration is with just 1 hour, we just achieve like normal concentration. But to achieve the full absorption concentration, it will require, like me, I had to stay in the monastery and do the meditation like 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours a day to achieve full absorption concentration. And after we achieve the full absorption concentration, and there are 40 types of concentration meditation, I learned all of 40 types of concentration with Buddha taught long times ago. And after that, I can develop the wisdom. The wisdom is all about, first of the wisdom, about, there are 16 wisdom, but let me explain about 3 wisdom. Is the first is mentality and materiality, which I can discern my body or the building or whole the universe by the, I can see the atomic, the very small article inside my body, inside the chair, the building, the city, or the earth, or the moon, or, you know, we can discern the structure of materiality of everything around, or even our body. And we can discern our mentality is all about our mind. And the second is about cause and effect. I need to discern like many past life and future life of myself, if I can, if I still have my future life. And that means because of this cause, and we can understand this effect. That's why it's about cause and effect. That is second wisdom, because of the previous life cause. That's why I was born at unhappy. I was born at unhappy architect. So I started to meditate, and then I become more and more balanced and happy now at the moment. And the third wisdom is about impermanence of everything around us, even our body, even the earth. The earth have its own life, or everything around us, or because everything is impermanent. So if we rely on impermanent things, it will be, it will make the suffering. And then if we can discern our body at a appear and disappear, the article, the subatomic article, the small piece of, and our mind too, and then we will know it's non-self, nothing like Trong Nghia. I just a group of the materiality and mentality. And then if we can discern this part of the Buddha thought, and then we realize about impermanence and suffering and non-self, and then the benefits of wisdom is to be enlightened. And of course, with good morality and concentration, we can do our architecture faster and better. Let me explain it later by architecture, by our project. So this is Vietnamese city situation. Maybe it has some similarity with the Indian city like Delhi or Mumbai. Is really crowded and polluted city. This is the picture of Ho Chi Minh City, and the city is lacking of greenery. The most lowest green ratio in the world is about just 0.5 square meter per person, 0.7. Greenery in Ho Chi Minh City is almost lowest ratio in the Asia and in the world. Let me explain our aim. Our aim is to make the city to be more green by using the urban planning system, or each small house or each small project, but we try to reintroducing the greenery to the city and again. And so with that purpose, we design each house like a pocket park for the city, like the house for tree series. So let me explain one by one. And here is the first one for the house release we did in Ho Chi Minh City. In the middle of concrete jungle, we try to make the small park for the bird, for the people, like between the steel roof, and then we see the small park, and then it had like 5 boxes with living function inside. But now the tree became big, and it like we are living in under the tree. And we designed this by the bamboo formwork concrete house, and we have many courtyards, the courtyard in the middle and around the building, and we can enjoy and see from the inside space to the courtyards. And here is from the box to the middle courtyards, and here the living room. And next is we designed this house at the pottery village in we name it Batang village in the northern Vietnam near Hanoi. Here's the old village. They are making the pottery product. That's why we asked the client also making the pottery. So we cooperate with them to make a pottery house with the brick and everything outside, make the pottery. And we create, because the city or the house around is not really good looking, so we make we filter the scenery around by the pottery, but a lot of porous to enhance the ventilation, and we install the tree in the middle to make more of the inner space more comfortable. And you can see here a lot of tree around the building. The system you can see here is the boxes. We stuck the boxes and with the many layout of the garden, and then we filter the landscape around by the pottery wall. And you can see we can still introduce the soft sunlight and wind to the house like this, and we introduce the greenery in the middle of two layouts. And here the bedroom, the garden in between of the pottery wall and the inner space like this. And this appearance is to the outside. And we designed another house in Da Nang. Is also we try to also make it like a small park for the city. It it built up by brick and concrete. We introduced a pool in the under the house, and huge plant box on top to make like younger tropical younger for the area. The design is it looked like the whole big box, and with the huge tripod on top of that, and the space inside is connecting each other and connecting to the outside. And you can see the huge plant box on the building. And this is from the swimming pool to see up to the sky. And the space inside with the entrance, we make the connecting of the space to the second floor to third floor, and we can see the huge plant box on top of the building. And here you can see we designed the space inside, outside, with very harsh tropical climates in Vietnam, but with the shadow of greenery, and the plant box is really deep, and it makes the house very cooler than outside. And you can see the ventilation system vertically and horizontally. And here the from the space to see the master bedroom over there, and the bridge connecting. And here is the master bedroom. We can see from here the bathroom and the garden and the terrace. Here the living room, and another project is the farming kindergarten for the factory worker children. This factory is a protein factory which make about there are about 25,000 workers working for the factory, and about 500 children need to go to the kindergarten. And here you can see the factory on the left, and next to the kindergarten. And we designed, because as you saw, the space of the city with lacking of greenery and safety place for the children to play. So we would like to make the all the garden around with grass and tree to enhance the space for the children. And with 3 courtyards connecting together is very safe for them to play. And not only that, we enhance the play space to the rooftop continuously, and go back to the courtyards for them to play. And you can see here we it slopes slightly to the rooftop and come back to the courtyards again. And here we use the water of the factory to do the farming on the rooftop of the school to allow us to teach the children how important of the greenery and the process of learning of the agricultural. And of course, we can use this for their food, and the worker who work from the factory, they can work here to make the vegetable for their children, to save the money for the buying the vegetable from the market. And children can enjoy the process of making the vegetable too. And you can see the space, they continuously to the rooftop, and they can play here like this. And the courtyards are connecting together and enhance the space to the rooftop. And the classroom, we also make a plant tree for the facade, and because the budget was limited, so we don't have enough money to install air conditioning, so we designed to have good ventilation and a green facade. And another project is a hotel in the middle of the green of the concrete jungle. We would like to make a building with introduce greenery to the city, to make like, though is all of them are the hotel, but we still want to introduce the greenery to the building. The size is only less than 700 square meter, but we still introduce a huge amount of greenery to the city. And the facade, we do all by outside by concrete, and we plant the tree, which is this tree is very good at storm. We this grow along the beach, and then that's why we put it on the building, because this area with facing to the ocean and with huge storm each years. So you can see the ocean in front of the building, and we introduce we plant a tree. This type of tree is very good with the salty water and also the storm. The interior of the room, this is the entrance. The tea space in the ground floor, and the swimming pool on top of the building, and the side facade. And another building in the northern Vietnam, we this is the Viettel group, the biggest communication group in Vietnam, and then we also plan a kind of a forest around the building, and make the building with the private courtyards for them to make the like a small because the important office for the group. So we create the creativity space for them, and we put the courtyards or the space go up to the rooftop, and the corridor, all made of like concrete, and the meeting room and the building. We try to make the space garden around like a big forest, and also the rooftop with the greenery. And the next building is the Viettel Academy, which is like a university campus. We also would like to do this like a, sorry, I keep some slides. We plant the tree like a small forest, and we put the box in the middle of the tree, and then we also plant the tree on the rooftop, and we connecting them all by the concrete corridor. And it will be, you can see here the garden and the rooftop, and we plant this type of tree can grow like 20-30 meter, and then it will be put the box in the middle of the put the box in the middle of the tree, the forest. And we also introduce the water garden in the middle of the facility to help to cool down the atmosphere, the air around the building. And we make the shadow for the wall to reduce the heat with the hot sunshine in the northern Vietnam. To make the surface of the wall cooler by the shadow of the brick itself too. You can see here. And the tree go beyond the concrete slab to make like a nature forest. And here is our office in Ho Chi Minh City. During the pandemic, it helped a lot because we have to open the air, the greenery around, make a forest. We are inside this building to work, and the space inside is very, we don't have to turn on light much, and then we make the big void with greenery around, with ventilation, with the mosquito net, and then we can work during the pandemic very well. It's the void connecting in the middle of the office, and at the ground floor, the void connecting the ground floor and the first floor and all the building, and it connecting each floor together. Now we rent out this office for another tech company, and we build the next one for our company at the moment under designing. And our office, and also this office, we have a lot of birds is coming every day around the building because of a lot of greenery in the here. And let me introduce you some bamboo project. There is a special bamboo pieces in Vietnam. It's small but very straight and solid. And we people will ask about the life of the bamboo building, but in reality, we struck the bamboo into the river for about 6 months to a year, and then we banned it if we want to ban, we ban it first, and then we put it to the river or a lake for 6 months to a year. And after that, we smoke them to black and we use this. And because of that, we can use this for now our building about 15 years, but still very good condition, the bamboo building. And the way we make the bamboo building is almost not all of them, but by the unit to control the quality well. And because of, we copy it the unit, and then it can enhance the productivity. And like this building or this, and let me introduce one by one. Here is a Vedana restaurant in northern Vietnam. We designed it about 1,000 square meters, and then we put it. We do all the master plan. That's why we had a chance to put the building in the middle of the lake. And the building is lighting. The hotel is surround. This picture was taken when the building around not finished, but the building itself also like a vertical forest to make the background for this building. And the space inside is about like more than 15 meter height, and this is a pure bamboo structure. We don't use steel or any joint of steel for structure. The steel we use is for a ring on the rooftop to support the glass. And you can see here the corridor, the space in the middle, inside and outside, and we can see the surrounding nature. And this one is from rooftop to the mountain around, the entrance, and the appearance on the lakes at night. And another project is the welcome center in very huge real estate project in the southern island, Phu Quoc Island, Vietnam. And this is like kind of the welcome center, and we put on the artificial lake and grid system around. And let me show you the section first. Sorry, we like do the sculpture inside, like the drum or the lotus shape in the middle of, and the grid system around. And let me explain you a little bit this one about the difficulty of the detail here, because we have the curving system inside and the grid system outside, and how we can control it to be precise. Honestly, I never been here from it start to design and until it finished. And almost I show you the project today is almost none of them I never been to during the design and construction process, which was impossible for an architect to control the quality of the building. But after I could achieve the full absorption concentration, and based on the 5 Buddhist precepts, I can manage with staff to do the architecture without going to the construction site, without meeting client, or without even seeing the site before and during the project. I will explain you carefully if you have a question, but many of this project I never been to. And this project has been done quite good at the detail, but again, I never been to the construction site. And the curving, this very difficult at the curving of the surface and the gate curving and the grid system to be matching together at the detail at the joint at that point. And the outside cantilever is hard to support in terms of a structural issue. And you can see here the entrance, the two dome, and the surrounding grid make the very soft sunlight to the building and the grid system around. And again, I never been to. And we did this master plan and also the community house of this project. We call the Kasamia Community House. And of course, during the construction site, and I never been to see. And I just went here a long time ago before the master plan had been done. But we still, with our team, we can still achieve the quality of the construction of this is like a community house for the project, and for the selling gallery of the project too, and we use it at a restaurant and cafe for the project. And it also been done by pure bamboo structure, and it was attacked, can I say so, by huge storm the last year and last 2 years ago. It can be the historical big storm coming, and but it was still very good. It had no problem with the storm, and the structure also pure bamboo structure. And thanks to the group of the meditating workers and architect, I never been to the project during the design process and construction too. And this I went to this project when it finished many months later, and I did the lecture and do the opening house ceremony for the building, and I went there. And for this project also, I never been to this project during even before the design and before the designing and construction. And I didn't have to meet the client too. The Mr. Dart and his team and our meditating workers deal with the client and construction site. And here is the entrance for the cemetery, and they need to be like not like a set space or like but like a very soft and harmonize with the nature around, and people feel a bit better, not very sad in the cemetery. And the outside, the up present and the structural system, and even the restroom. And again, I came here for the opening ceremony after coming back from Myanmar. And this project also, I never been to. This is a resort, or we can say resort, or we can say it is a hostel, which consists of 2-story building, and one main and restaurant with very small island, small space to build, just 2,000 square meter. And this many bedroom bed inside the bungalow with about 30 bed with one bungalow and 5 it consists of about 150 customers. And here is the restaurant. This time we don't use the bending restaurant, but bending bamboo, but we use the HP shell. Its element is red, but it look like a bending surface. And everything here is simple, like. And until now, I never been to this project. And this project also had been done for the renovation for the concrete building, but we make the column like a bamboo column. But here is just interior design, and it make the space to be like this. And at the rooftop, we still have the chance to make like a small space like pavilion on the rooftop of the building. And this space, and I never meet client until now. It has been done for many years, and we are thinking to meet each other, but we still haven't met yet. And the project itself is running very well. Another construction is a restaurant in Xiamen, China. I never been here during the design process and construction too. And another project is the chapel next to the ocean. I never been there too. It's still under construction, and now it had been done. And another project is another timber building near Ho Chi Minh City. Yes, we show the bamboo, the greenery, and we saw some one of the timber building we had been done recently. And we make the big shadow, big space around the building for the, they make the event for the huge family, like a few hundred person come to make the event ceremony, because they're the kind of billionaire, and the space around have enough space for the putting the table, the chair for the party, and the inner space. And another pavilion has been done in Nantou, China. I never been to there too, but hopefully one day now China is open, and then I hope fully to go to this project too. And let me explain you about how the importance of how we can achieve the system of the maintaining the precept and meditation, which can help me just work about maybe just 30 minutes, 1 hour during the pandemic after I coming out from Myanmar. Now I try to work a little bit more, just a little bit more, because of the crisis at the moment. But it a few hours, maybe 1 to 2 hours per day. But our staff, they are meditating very well, so they can help me with their concentration, and with my concentration, we can do very well with controlling the quality. And it also helped me to be free from the meeting or meeting the client in person, but we still can control the good quality of the the detail and construction and design quality. And how do you think with all of us who are maintaining the 5 precepts without killing? Even we respect the life of ant or mosquito or even snake. That means never we will never have the war happen. Or with maintaining the 5 precepts, we don't take alcohol, we don't have sexual misconduct, we don't steal or harm any person around, then the world will be more and more peaceful. And thanks to the 5 precepts and the concentration of meditation, I could achieve our building together with my staff and worker without going spend a lot of time. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much, Juan, for your extremely meditative and evocative presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know, your work, as I told you the other day on phone, makes me nostalgic about my growing up years in the city of Srinagar in the Kashmir Valley, located in the Himalayas.
Yes.
Where I was born in early 1950s in an earth-sheltered house, believe it or not. I have a very clear recollection of the whole city as a city of gently sloping green roofs with vegetables and flowers growing on them through the summer months. 70 years later today, not a single such roof exists in the city.
What a pity.
And to suggest going back to this tradition today attracts ridicule. So now you are exactly trying to do more or less the same in of course, with a contemporary interpretation in your part of the world. With, of course, as we can see, with sufficient success. So I would like to know from you, what has your experience been in convincing the users and the clients, on one hand, and the municipalities and the governmental agencies to your green ideas and initiatives? That's one part of the question. And the second part of the question is that, does it continue to be like an elitist indulgence, or do you see it becoming into some sort of a mass movement with a large acceptance cutting across the, let's say, the social and class divide?
To convince the client, first of all, for the we do some house design for free, and then we ask a client, let us do what we want to do, and finally we can achieve some. And because of the situation of the city in Vietnam is lacking of greenery, and then the problem is very serious. That's why convincing them to do the green, the building with the tree on is not difficult, because when we live in the middle of the concrete jungle, and then the green become very important. and they can recognize that with our space quality and our detail, and the greenery make people rest less of stress, and also it like a filter from the hot weather or harsh weather of the Vietnamese tropical climates, and also it helps them feel more happy, or even they can plant their own vegetable on their home. So at the beginning it was a little bit difficult to convince, but later it became easier. But for the kindergarten, in reality, we do the competition. We submitted the competition with other two options to win the competition first. And we know if we show this design to them, and then they will reject at the beginning because it looked hard to build. But after we won the competition, we show it to them, and we promise them is we can build it within the budget, and we can build it with our with simple technique, and we could achieve them. And finally, with this situation, later we announced that we only design the house for free. That means if you accept us to design the house for you, that means I will use your house to contribute a park, small pocket park for the city inhabitant or city. And then I think the client, or they accept, or they know we only do like that, and they coming with that, and then they know that at the beginning. So that's why we don't have to spend time to explain them again about the greenery. Hello?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We could have continued discussing this further, but there are too many questions, very interesting questions that have come from the attendees. So I'll start with this, and I'll come in with my bit, little bits in between, if required. There is a question from Kartikeya Shodhan, who is, of course, very impressed with your work and says that it's amazingly inspiring real life story. Thank you so much for sharing. My question is, can you please explain the journey from the time you seriously started to follow the Buddhist precepts, and how did you begin to see the results of the immense strength of spiritual consciousness becoming potent?
I told you at the beginning, I was an unhappy architect. I started my firm in 2006, and we gained some recognition, and we won a lot of international awards at that time. But I felt very unhappy, with a lot of anger and anxiety, or even a little bit jealousy. And I still feel there is something lacking up in my life. So I started to meditate in 2012 with the course, like 10-day course, many course each year. And I started to feel that is I can manage my anger, my unhappiness, my thing a little bit better, and then better day by day. Time by time, each time I go to meditation, I feel a little bit better. And I had to work around the clock. I work very hard, like Japanese architect, to work from early morning to very late at night to create some idea. But I found out that after meditating, I can do it a little bit easier and easier, and the idea come out is more naturally. I don't have to force. I don't have to try much. And then, but I meditated, but without not focusing too much to the maintaining the 5 precepts. So the result was not really high from 2012 to 2016. And then I started to go to Myanmar for my intensive course with 3 years. I had been in the forest for 3 years. And then, of course, because I living in the forest, so I try to use the simple phone without any, without internet. So, of course, at that situation, I cannot meet client. Of course, I cannot meet client. I cannot work long because I just have the short time, like 30 minutes per day to make a phone without internet with my my partner and my staff. And but how lucky I was is I could achieve the full absorption concentration. That means I can concentrate very long time, like many hours, many hours sitting meditation. And then with that result, idea come out naturally, easily, don't need an efforts less, no efforts, don't need efforts. And then of course at the beginning, the many important clients, they left our office because they think Mr. Nghia now in the forest, he doesn't want to work anymore. So but luckily our staff and we still continue the system of meditation at the company, and I focus on my meditation and I help them to meditate too. And I ask some my important staff to come to Myanmar to meditate with me like a month or 2 months, and they come back to Vietnam, and we do almost all of the idea during the period of the people coming in Myanmar, and then they come back to do, and we still continue to achieve a though building that you see today is almost when I was in Myanmar. And many of them are being done after I come out from Myanmar. That's why I didn't have any chance to meet the client or to go to see the construction site, which is almost impossible to think about. That is, you don't go to the construction site. But that helped me to get used to with that situation. Then that's why now I came to Australia to learn English, to establish the architecture firm here, or maybe I go to the US to make the architecture firm there too, because I don't have, because we work without meeting the client, without going to the construction site, thanks to the morality and concentration and the wisdom. And I also ask my staff to maintain the 5 precepts and meditation 1 hour. It is hard for them, especially for international staff, because they think drinking a beer at the end of the day is nothing, or we go to the wedding party, we drink beer, we drink alcohol is normal. But we don't want to allow staff to do so. That's why all international staff left from my company, and all many of good staff, they left because of I require them to meditate 2 hours per day. Now is reducing to be 1 hour a day, but a few months ago it was 2 hours per day. So but I realized the precept and meditation, we can make the staff good at morality with good heart, pure heart. And meditation, also Harvard and Stanford and many universities in the world, they prove that with just 30 minutes a day to meditate, then it can change your brain, they can change your life after 2 weeks only. And my staff, they do meditation like every day 1 hour before working hour. Then that's why we can do well during the pandemic. And after the pandemic, we think it becomes situation become better, but unluckily we think because of the war, every issue, the economic issue, and the real estate bubble broke, and then but we still do well, and I could finish the whole process of the concentration and until the 11 wisdom of the Buddha teaching. So that's why we can still do very well at the moment. Thank you.
Thanks, Vo. A question from Mahir Bhatt from Ahmedabad. Amazing structures, he says, and the quality of light coming in the buildings. Can you tell us more about the availability of construction skills for your buildings in urban areas? Are they available? You have to train your construction workers? And here's a related question. A follow-up, where he's asking, or he's complimenting you for being the pioneer of the bamboo architecture in Vietnam. So his follow-up question is bamboo now used more widely in Vietnam, or as widely as it was used? Now, first, if you could answer his first question, the earlier question about the availability of the trained construction workers.
First of all, we train all our staff by the precept and meditation. And every day we report each other. We make a group to report about our precept. The 5 precepts, I repeat to you again, is no lying, no killing, no lying, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no alcohol or drug. And we do it every day. It's about we are pure in our precept. That means my staff, my partner, my staff, my worker is the most reliable people in the world. Why? Because they don't lie me. They are no stealing, no killing, no sexual misconduct, no alcohol or drug. So they are most reliable people. I respect my staff, even then my relative, if the relative don't maintain the 5 precepts. So of course, the respectful people will be my staff, because we compare each other by the precept. not by the by how close we are in terms of the relative. So how you can control the quality. So if my staff and my workers is the most reliable people in the world, so things become very easy. I don't have to do much about controlling them. I don't try to control them. I just try to be sure they are maintaining the 5 precepts and meditate well. And thanks to the 5 precepts and meditation, we can believe each other easily and stop. They are believe each other, and the client they believe us too. And if you get the believing from the client, from the everyone, and then we can achieve the quality easier. And my staff at the construction site, they are also, many of them, very serious meditator. So to convince them to do something is not hard. They are very proud of at their work, and they are doing very well. So
Thank
the
you.
secret,
Thank you.
no.
Yeah.
So the secret here is about the system of the 5 precepts and meditation at my company and at the construction site. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question from Laurie Wood from England. Now, here's two questions actually. He asks, what is the life expectancy of your bamboo buildings? That's his part 1. And
Yes.
part 2 of the question, or the second question, is that most architects and engineers rely on steel work to connect timber structures together in their buildings. Now, you use a rope to bind bamboo together. How do you achieve these connection details? And do you use computer program to confirm structural capability? So first is the,
First of all, about the lifespan of the bamboo building, we first we use the traditional treatment methods. Is about shocking it into the river and smoke it until the bamboo became black. We don't use any chemical. And at my building, the longest one is now about 15 years, not but it's still like brand new. We hope it will be like Japanese. They use the bamboo for the interior decoration. It can last like 100 years. And with our efforts, we do the bamboo, and hopefully we can smoke it like 10 years one time, and it can last like 100 years. The first question. And the second question is, I want to tell you about here in 2004, I saw the Simon Veles bamboo building in Colombia, and I don't have any influence from him. I think I can do better and cheaper solution. Are you hearing me? You introduced me, had some influence from him, but I take the books in my hand, and I think we need to use the connection. If we use the steel connection between the bamboo to bamboo, like people do, then the marriage good thing, the advantage of the low cost is disappear, because if you join the bamboo to bamboo by steel, and then many join and make the building become expensive, right? And secondly, if we do like handmade, I was educated in Japan, and my professor is one of the greatest architect in the world. He always taught me about how to tell me about how to make the building can last like super long times, and the system to build it is important. So I thought at the beginning is how I can control the precise each unit, and we design it into the unit, and to make the building from the unit to control the quality become easier. And the joint is we put the bamboo together, and we put the nail, the bamboo nail. Can you see me? Like this, many layout to nail, and we rough it's just outside, but in reality the connecting between the bamboo to bamboo is by nail, bamboo nail, and then it enhance the advantage of the curving softness of the joint, and the steel can keep the curving, beautiful curving from bamboo. And that is our originality, that we thought we can do better than the previous one, another architect we don't want to mention again. And because it unit, and then we control the quality better, and the connection is soft and continuously, and then it can make it cheaper, and we can do it like in China, maybe in India, in Italy, in Japan, in Australia easily, because of the unit framing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There are, a whole lot of questions. I don't think we can go into all of them, but I think we'll ask last 2 or 3 questions, and then we may have to send you these questions by mail to answer, so that we can send them back to the people who have posed them. Now, there are a lot of questions on the performance of your buildings. For example, there's a question by somebody whose name is not mentioned. How do you deal with the seepage that might be caused by the trees and plants grown within the building? And there are many others who have asked this question.
Can you repeat it again, the question?
The question is that how do you deal with the seepage that might be caused by the trees and plants grown within the building? Seepage means the water ingress, water going into the building, but because you have to water the plants, and the water getting sucked into the building.
It is not very difficult issue nowadays. Can you see my glasses?
Yes.
The water leaking outside the glasses or not? Right. So we put if you put the pot independently to the building, and we plant the tree on this, and it will not have any problem of the water, because we have its own roof or its own building under, right? And we put the tree like this, in this way, and then it will not have any problem of the water leaking. And one more good thing is, if we plant the tree and put the soil on the building, it helps a lot to protect the concrete from the hot sunshine, and the concrete will not be leaking. And during the pouring the concrete, you should put the chemical to protect the water from the surface to inside the concrete, the one solution. And the second is you paint the waterproofing after that. And then we put the pot of the tree independently on the building. That will be very easy solution if you think a little bit.
Thank you. A
Yeah.
question from Lakshmi Chand Singh from Delhi. How do you manage your time so well? And how are you able to control quality and design precision without physically visiting sites? It almost seems like you have a secret magic wand.
Oh, I try to explain many times is my staff is, they are very reliable. And they maintain the 5 precepts and meditate 1 hour a day, previously 2 hours a day. So they manage the quality instead of me. And because my job is thinking about the concept, but previously, many years ago, we had to work. We had to work around the clock, but because we try much to think about the idea with the wandering mind. You mean a lot of wandering mind, a lot of thought inside my mind, and then I cannot think about the clear the idea clearly. But nowadays, because of not thinking, the process is opposite. Because of no wandering mind or less wandering mind, and then like the highway without any car there, you can run very fast and the idea come out easier. And we can also control the risk easier than before. Then that's why I can manage my time from today until the end of my life. I don't have any schedule for anything. Last week I have the today schedule because I have to think today about this presentation. But from tomorrow, from after few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes after this presentation, I don't have any schedule. I don't want to have any promise with any person like next week. No, just like tomorrow we go to, oh, how about playing golf tomorrow? And then yes or no, that's it. I don't have to break my my time like 365 days to break this schedule, this meeting. No, nothing. So that's why I am free in terms of physical free and physical mentality free. So I can manage everything easier. So I have plenty of time for my life. That's why I try to refuse like today meeting, today we have talk or something like that. No.
So thank you. Last question of the day online. Of course, we'll be sending you the other questions, hopefully, by email. And if you wish to answer them, that would be a pleasure. It's Arastu Gupta asking, you have categorically mentioned again and again that you have not visited many projects and never met your clients. Are the clients comfortable with this situation?
They are very comfortable. That's why they keep repeating to do their architecture.
Okay.
And you know, like some of them, they just wish they can meet me one day.
Okay.
They invite me to them, but I still keep 365 days for free.
Okay.
So, no, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this. I wasn't meaning to ask this question, but nevertheless, in the you know, on the way of conclude, in the manner of conclusion, there's somebody asking. Must be a young architect or a student, Rakesh Bosle, asking, how can we come to meditate with you in Vietnam? Which means, in other words, it's an indirect way of asking you, how can they come and work with you?
If you are ready to maintain the 5 precepts and meditate, I will teach you to meditate with my staff in Vietnam. You are welcome.
Thank you. I have a feeling that we have to kind of end this session of deep, what should I say, insight and meditation. This could go on. But before we conclude, I think Rinana needs to show the video that was missed. She missed showing it in the beginning. So I hand it over to Rinana to take this forward. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before I actually come to the thanks, which I will do after the video, I would like to come back to CSA Jhabvala and just show a short video on his works, please. Navya.
Architect Cyrus Jhabvala is one of the most prominent architects from the significant phase of modern architecture in post-independence India. He designed and executed over 400 projects ranging from institutional to industrial, commercial to residential in his architectural practice spanning over 3 decades. The architectural works of CSA Jhabvala were generously gifted by his daughter Rinana Jhabvala on behalf of the Jhabvala family to CEPT Archives. An initiative by CEPT University, it is dedicated to architecture and design of the built environment. CEPT Archives has been entrusted with the task of archiving the work of architect CSA Jhabvala, a practitioner, a teacher, and an artist. The collection includes drawings, sketches, photographs, reports, documents, office records, and exhibition panels. The material at the CEPT Archives includes more than 10,000 items digitized and catalogued and is available for reference and research to anyone from across the globe. The collection at the archives offers insights into the multifaceted practice of CSA Jhabvala. The expansive collection reflects his belief the Jhabvala collection is housed at the archives to inspire generations to come.
Thank you.
Very beautiful building.
Thank you. And now let me end this webinar by very sincerely and heartily thanking you, Dr. Nghia. And what we saw was wonderful and is a real answer to the challenges that we face today. So we did interrupt your free time that you have, but it has been a great privilege for all of us. I'd like to also thank Professor Chisti for so capably facilitating this webinar, and we look forward to facilitating many more. And many thanks to the School of Planning and Architecture for always being there, for bringing in the students, and for remembering their old head of department. Navya, thank you for the technical part, and Ava, thank you for being part of this family work. I especially want to thank all the attendees. You have patiently listened, and I have asked Navya to put Dr. Nghria's office address on the Q&A box. So Navya, if you would do that, and you could see it later on. Of course, it's also on his website. So if you especially want to reach out, you may write an email to that address. So thank you once again. Thank you all very much. And with those words, we end this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.